You are listening to NewVision, OldWays, the podcast that explores timeless wisdom for the modern mind in a fun, relaxed, and most important, interactive way with you, the listener. I am your host, Tony Marinaccio, and let's get the episode started. Welcome, everyone, to a bonus Season 3 episode of the NewVision, OldWays podcast. And, as always, I am your host, Tony Marinaccio, and I was not planning this particular episode, but I had such a great response to the last 3 episodes about liminal or transitional spaces, dark psychology, guarding against mind manipulation, and of course the last episode about the power of the subconscious mind, that I felt like I had to tie these together a bit more. And I want to talk about a study showing how far AI has come with treating mental illness that I did not discuss in episode 26. It's an eye-opening study that sheds light on where we are going with mental health treatments and what we can expect in the future. So let's get right into it. Episode 31, the Season 3 bonus episode, taking dark psychology, liminal spaces, and the subconscious mind a step further.
Today, neuroscience confirms that every thought creates a specific electromagnetic signature in your brain. Your thoughts aren't just abstract concepts. They're energy patterns that create measurable changes in your brain's chemistry and electrical activity. Think of your subconscious as a sophisticated electromagnetic generator. Every thought you hold creates a corresponding electromagnetic pattern, which then attracts similar energy patterns back to you. This is why sustained stress thoughts create more stressful situations. Your mental power plant is literally generating an electromagnetic frequency that attracts matching experiences.
There is a great quote from Jonathan Safran Foer. He said, "I think and I think and I think. I've thought myself out of happiness a million times, never once into it." And I can so relate to that, and I bet many of you can too. Our minds can control us if we let it. But the object here is that we need to control our minds. A wonderful passage from a book called Don't Believe Everything You Think by Joseph Wynn reads like this: "If we keep allowing this thinking to direct our lives, we will stay in a state of fight or flight, anxiety, fear, frustration, depression, anger, resentment, and negative emotion, because the mind views everything as a threat to our very existence. And it is this tendency of our minds that leads us to the torturous thinking that is at the root of our suffering." Since the last 3 episodes aired, especially episode 29 about dark psychology, I've been asked many questions about the subjects I discussed, and it made it clear to me that a deeper dive into these subjects will be well worth it. I want to start with the idea that may be obvious to some, and maybe not to others. It's the idea that there are a lot of people mentally suffering in the world right now, and I truly believe that it is well within our power to change that. But I do see a disturbing trend over the last, let's say 10 years, where instead of treating many of the causes of these problems, we have been in many cases taking the approach of appeasing people that are suffering, rather than getting to and changing the problems at the core of their suffering. I have discussed on many occasions how important it is for us to realize that we individually have to make a conscious choice about how we are going to live. Are we going to be victims, or are we going to rise above our problems and become the mental powerhouses we were meant to be in the first place? I did an episode on liminal spaces, otherwise known as life's transitional moments, because I wanted to draw attention to how important those moments are. We can decide to be strong in those moments and learn from the sometimes difficult transitional times, or we can suffer through them with anxiety and fear. This anxiety and fear can easily be a moment when we are truly susceptible to those people who will try and manipulate us with the dark psychology techniques I discussed in episode 29. This is why dark psychology is so important to understand. It's not just a theory or an abstract concept to scare you. It has real-life consequences for all of us, whether we realize it or not. Understanding dark psychology helps us navigate a world where manipulation, coercion, and deceit are used more often than we might like to admit. It's crucial for protecting our lives, but it's also about empowering our relationships and maintaining our autonomy. We should all have the ability to make our own decisions and live life according to our own values and desires. Dark psychology isn't something that only happens in extreme cases. It can be everywhere. The key is that manipulation can be subtle, and often we don't realize it's happening until we have already been influenced by it. So this is why those transitional moments are so important. We have to keep our minds healthy and clear at all times and realize that we will all have people trying to influence our next move. Some may have our best interests at heart, and some, well, they just won't have our best interest at heart at all. And it can be very easy to fall into a trap when you are at a weakened emotional state. This is where what you let into your subconscious mind can either see you through the difficult time, or where the subconscious mind can take you down a terrible path because of the negative and dark thoughts that have been now implanted. The direct line from transitional moments to dark psychology to the subconscious cannot be overstated. That is why many occasions I stress the fact that we all need to be prepared for these times using any and all of the healthy techniques I have discussed along the way. But what if you have fallen into a trap and you feel you cannot get out of it? It happens to many of us, and seeking help to get through this can be a valuable thing to do. There have been many advances in the field of mental health, especially recently, and I have discussed a few of those in the artificial intelligence episodes I have done. But a recent study has shed light on how AI treatments have had surprisingly positive results. A study conducted by colleagues from multiple institutions studied over 800 participants who could rarely identify whether the responses were written by ChatGPT or by therapists. In fact, many of the responses were longer and more individualized than many of the actual therapist responses were. The study also revealed that overall, AI has the potential to improve psychotherapeutic processes. This work may lead to the development of different methods of testing and creating psychotherapeutic interventions. The reason why I bring AI into the conversation every now and then is that we need to start treating our mental health issues in a different way than we have relied upon in the past. We should never solely rely on computers. Human therapists are vital, but we need to see that AI can be an incredible tool that we can use to help us reimagine what treatments for mental health could look like and how individually formulated they can be. One-size-fits-all treatments do not work, and our overall mental health shows it. Do you suffer from low self-esteem, anxiety, depression, or an inability to focus on what you need to do to succeed in life? If you do, and most of us have at one time or another, then go back through these episodes and pick out concepts that will help you get in touch with your inner self and start realizing that life can be different and giving up should not be an option. If you seek out a therapist, research and try to find one that is open to various treatments. Remember, we are all unique, and we all will respond to various treatments differently. And that is okay, because when you find the right one, it will open doors for you that will begin to let the sunlight in, and you will start to see how your life can really be. Now, even more in the future, neurotechnology for mental health can include brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs, and AI-powered neurofeedback systems are being explored to treat conditions like PTSD, anxiety, and depression. By developing AI-driven brain monitoring technologies that could enhance understanding and treatment of mental disorders by measuring brain activity in real time. And that is the key, in real time. BCIs can help individuals with severe depression or PTSD and regulate their emotional states by directly interacting with the brainwaves. An example of this is Elon Musk's Neuralink and other neurotechnology firms that are developing implants that track and modify brain signals, potentially offering real-time interventions for mood disorders with a reduction in medications. And if I'm assuming you have noticed that many of the medications that are advertised use most of the time allotted to them to discuss all the side effects of the medication that seem way worse than what the medications were intended for in the first place. So any reduction in meds is a great thing, which brings me to a subject that medical professionals cringe at when I bring it up, but that's the idea of natural remedies or homeopathic remedies. It is a sensitive area because if you are on any prescribed medications, you certainly do not want to take anything that will interfere with that. But research has proven many times over that a healthy mind can be a direct result of your diet, your physical health, and utilization of practices like mindful meditation. But there are natural products on the market that you can have that will make a difference in many of us. Of course, do your own research and choose what you take wisely, but it's well worth the effort. I know in my own case, I have mentioned it before that a few years ago I was struggling with the way I felt, and I did my research and I came up with some natural remedies that work best for me. such as turmeric for internal healing and pain regulation, like various beetroot delivery systems that open my blood vessels and lower my blood pressure and reduce my need for caffeine because I feel more energized, like a collagen supplement that helps with skin and nail health, and even heart health as well. Those are just a few of my top choices that have absolutely made a difference in my life, but there are many other homeopathic and natural remedies that have been used for centuries to support mental health. While they are not a substitute for professional medical treatment, some people can find relief from anxiety, depression, and stress through herbs, supplements, lifestyle changes, and holistic therapies. Here are some natural remedies and how they may help. So let's start with some herbal remedies. How about ashwagandha? It's an adaptogen that helps the body manage stress by reducing cortisol levels. It's used for anxiety, depression, and improving focus. How about St. John's wort? Known for its antidepressant effects, especially in mild to moderate depression. Studies show that it may increase serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine levels, similar to antidepressants. Valerian root, often used for insomnia and anxiety, it has a calming effect on the nervous system. It's taken sometimes as a tea or supplement before bed to improve sleep and reduce stress. How about lavender? Shown to reduce anxiety and improve sleep quality, used in aromatherapy teas or essential oil diffusers as well. And now you got nutritional supplements that are, you could fall into something like omega-3 fatty acids, supports brain function and may reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety. Magnesium plays a role in relaxation and stress reduction. Low levels are linked to anxiety and insomnia. B vitamins, essential for neurotransmitter function and energy production. B complex vitamins, especially B6, B9, B12, help improve mood and reduce brain fog. Very important. How about L-theanine? Found in green tea, it promotes calmness and focus by increasing gamma-aminobutyric acid, or GABA, and serotonin levels. Especially drinking green teas or taking the L-theanine supplements reduce stress without drowsiness. Mind-body practices. You could try meditation and mindfulness. We've talked about that many times. Helps rewire the brain for resilience, reducing anxiety and depression. How about aromatherapy? Now, that may work for some, may not work for others. As I said before, essential oils like lavender, chamomile, and bergamot reduce stress and promote relaxation. Diet and gut health. This is so important, and it's really never talked about, or at least not talked about very much. A healthy gut microbiome influences mood by affecting serotonin production. Eating probiotic-rich foods, yogurt, and I know we're going to get a lot of different versions of whether yogurt's good for you or not, but kimchi, sauerkraut, improves gut health and may help with depression. I'm not so big on the sauerkraut part, but traditional and energy healing practices like acupuncture, sunlight, and vitamin D, music and sound therapy. There are so many things we can do that we could use to help us get through these symptoms that we're having and maybe lessen or hopefully maybe even eliminate some of the drugs that we are being prescribed to take. And it's going to be so much healthier for us. Natural remedies can complement traditional treatments and support mental well-being. However, it's always best to consult a healthcare professional before starting any herbal or supplement regimen, especially if taking medication. The point of all of this is there are ways to complement and or completely avoid prescription medicines or self-medicating with all the illegal drugs we already know about. Our bodies, no matter how indestructible you think you are, can only tolerate so much chemical alteration. Our bodies need to work naturally, as intended. Too much chemical alteration, and guess what? Our bodies start to break down, and we end up needing, you guessed it, more chemicals to keep us going. So I am a firm believer that anytime we could give our bodies what it really needs and avoid any chemical alteration if possible, then we can start to see and feel our bodies heal properly. And in turn, our mental health will improve immensely. The better you feel, the better you will think about yourself and your ability to get through the transitional or liminal spaces. Your ability to ward off anyone using dark psychology on you will be stronger than ever. And most importantly, your subconscious mind can be fed with positive messages, allowing you to see the world differently, and the real you, the healthy you, will emerge, and moving forward, you will now be excited instead of filled with fear and anxiety. And instead, as I mentioned in episode 30, that superpower that you have will finally be exposed. The new healthy you will do things you only dreamed about before. So again, there is nothing more important than our mental health and our body health. So it's time. Make the commitment and get on the road to a better you. I hope you enjoyed the bonus episode for Season 3. I'll be back with Season 4 very soon, so stay tuned and see all the ways to get a hold of the show at the show notes. And please, if you can, donate to the show, subscribe, follow us, like us on whatever platform you use. And as always, I thank you so much for listening. So for now, take care of yourself. You are worth it. And we will get together for Season 4 very soon. Until then, stay true to yourself, stay informed, and stay empowered.
But the most important thing is...
This episode and all the episodes of the NewVision OldWays podcast have been written, engineered, and produced by Tony Marinaccio and TKM Productions.